Hello everyone, my name is Emily Herring and I'm the naturalist with Marshall County Conservation. I'd like to thank you for signing up for insect identification trivia. In this next video, you will find that there are over 50 different insects that I have for you to be able to identify. Now, I want to give a little disclaimer. What I ended up doing was doing the common name, but also the specific species common name. So I may show you a picture of a specific type of damselfly. You could guess damselfly and you would be correct. But you could then go into depth and say that it's a spread-winged damselfly, if that's what you know. So if you're a starter, get the common name is great. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more and learn the specific species common name, then this will also challenge you in that way as well. So I hope you enjoy learning about insects here in Iowa. Of course, this is just an iceberg of all the many different types of insects that live here in Iowa. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Enjoy. This is one of the most common and widespread odonatas in the United States. They are sexually dimorphic, meaning that females and males look different. Females and young males have bullseye markings on their heads, whereas the males have a green-colored thorax and blue abdomen. If you guessed common green darner, you are correct. These larvae are known for their love of wood, including homes and buildings. Much more common in the southern half of Iowa, these underground dwellers can be found in Marshall County. If you guessed eastern subterranean termites, you are correct. This smaller and slender insect is not a dragonfly, but a relative to them. It gets its name from its beautiful black wings. It is an ebony jewelwing. These insects are beneficial to farmers and gardeners due to their love of aphids. Their name comes from their color and their delicate wings. If you guessed green lacewing, or also known as golden eye lacewings, you are correct. These grazers commonly munch on lichen, mold, and fungi that grow on a tree's outer surface. These insect nymphs often gather in groups called herds, hence the reason their family name means tree cattle. If you guess bark lice, you are correct. This insect is named for the male's wicked-looking abdomen. This insect is a scavenger and feeds on dead insects. They are not capable of stinging or biting humans. If you guess scorpion fly, you are correct. This insect gets its name from its larva that likes to dig in muddy bottoms of lakes and ponds. Once very abundant, these insects have decreased in population due to water pollution. As adults, they only live a day or two. If you guessed burrowing mayfly, you are correct. As adults, these insects resemble sleek moths, but their larva stage lives in the water. As a larva, to protect and help camouflage themselves, they make a case built from small snippets of green plants. This is a long-horned caddisfly. This species is considered a giant and gets its name from the pinkish-colored markings on the freshly emerged adults. This is a Midwestern salmon fly. These true bugs are named after the length of their life cycle. When the adults emerge, they make a loud, eerie sound that decibels can be louder than a jackhammer. If you guess 17-year cicada, you are correct. These generalists have thrived for over 280 million years according to fossil records. Its name is deceiving because instead of originating in the United States, it's probably originated from North Africa. This is an American cockroach. These insects are a type of grasshopper, but differ from other grasshoppers in their ability to migrate and swarm. This species can be identified by its creamy white face and dark sides. This is a black-sided pygmy locust. These insects are easy to identify because they mimic small branches or twigs to prevent being eaten by predators. Almost every North American species in the order does not have wings. If you guessed common walking stick, you are correct. This insect is native to the Mediterranean region and has been introduced into North America. A good identification key for these insects are the vice-like forelegs that have a black ringed white spot on the inside. This is a European mantis. This musical insect has a song to call in females, a song to woo her when she is near, and a rivalry song to scare off any other suitors. If their song doesn't tip you off to what insect this is, then their glossy black exoskeleton is a good clue. If you guessed fall field cricket, you are correct. This very large bug is regularly over 2 inches long and can be found in slow-moving or stagnant bodies of water. Some females in this family lay their eggs on the back of males. The males take care of the eggs, making sure they have plenty of oxygen, keep fungal infections at bay, and protect them from predators. This is a giant water bug. This all-green relative to grasshoppers are also known as long-horned grasshoppers. They blend well in the plants and leaves. These insects can be identified from other species by the brown dorsal process on the males and the brownish-red ovipositors on females. This is a forked-tailed bush katydid. This insect can be identified by its large back jumping legs that have a herringbone pattern on them. This insect once thrived in Iowa's meadows and bottomlands. Now, since much of this land is farmed, they live in farm fields and feed on crops. This is a differential grasshopper. Unlike its relatives, this insect doesn't live in trees or meadows. Instead, it lives underground. Its front legs are similar to a mammal who also spends most of its life underground. This species can be found in saturated soils near ponds and lakes. This is a northern mole cricket. Also commonly called pond skaters, these insects use surface tension on water to move. Their legs are covered with small hairs that help them to keep above the surface. It may look like this insect only has 2 legs. That is because the front legs are short and are used to grab prey. If you guessed water strider, you are correct. Many of this type of true bug mimic thorns, spikes, or horns. If mimicry doesn't protect it from predators, it does a quick jump to get away. This insect is named for its unique markings on its pronotum. This is a 2-marked tree hopper. This bug is known for producing a large amount of spit in their nymphal stage to protect their soft bodies from predators. It is named for the number of white spots on the edge of its wings. This is a 4-spotted spittlebug. These small relatives to field crickets are commonly mistaken for lacewings. More often, they are overlooked in the leaves of trees. However, it is hard to miss their call. This insect gets part of its name for the number of spots located at the base of their antennae. This is a 4-spotted tree cricket. These swift predators are named after a predator found in the jungle. However, it is much larger and hairier than this insect. This insect is also named after the markings on its back. If you guessed 6-spotted tiger beetle, you are correct. This type of insect can be identified by its hard elytra, outer wings, the male's antler-like mandibles, and its color. They look pretty scary for being herbivores. This is a reddish-brown stag beetle. Commonly called a hummingbird moth, this insect is a moth that feeds on nectar like hummingbirds. However, it's not the name I'm looking for. It gets its name because when a caterpillar is alarmed, it raises its head up, and its form looks similar to a large stone statue found in Giza. If you guessed white-lined sphinx moth, you are correct. Part of the giant silk moth family, this large and beautiful moth lives in our hardwood forests because their larvae feed on birch, hickories, and walnuts. It gets its name from their scientific name, which was derived from the Roman word moon goddess. This is a Luna moth. This creature can be identified by its long snout and its elbow-jointed antenna. The tip of their snout is a chewing mouthpart called a rostrum. They use these parts to chew on seeds of a beautiful, tall, yellow flower. If you guess gray sunflower seed weevil, you are correct. These insects get their name by laying very still, waiting for their prey. Their amazing camouflage also helps them with this sneak attack. One of their favorite places to hide in is goldenrod flowers, where they can capture bees and large flies with their impressively strong forelegs. This is a jagged ambush bug. This insect gets its name from an irritant that is secreted to act as a defense tactic. This process is called reflex bleeding. There are many different species of this insect and they vary in colors. This one is named after its coloration. It is an ash gray blister beetle. Sometimes we get confused when we use common names with insect. This is one of those times. The hard outer shell is a giveaway. Many of its relatives in North America are actually introduced species, including the Asian multicolored, 7-spotted, 11-spotted, and Vidalia. But this one is native, and you just have to count the dots to know its name. This is a 9-spotted lady beetle. This very small butterfly is often overlooked. They often sit with their wings folded over their back to help blend into their environment. This species is named for its small, hair-like tails on the end of the bottom of their wings, and for its white markings on their wings that form a stripe. This is a banded hair streak. This nocturnal beetle is found in many different types of habitat, but are easily seen with their luminescent abdomen. This species in particular is named after one of the most well-known constellations in the sky. If you guessed Big Dipper firefly, you are correct. You can identify this insect because of its host plant, and I'll give you a hint. It's not a box elder tree. This type of bug is about 3/4 of an inch, much larger than its relatives. Because of its host plant, this insect's red and black apomatic or warning coloration tells predators it is poisonous due to cardiac glycosides in the plants they eat. This true bug sequesters the toxins, and if a predator decides to eat a bunch of them, they will cause the predator to vomit and develop strong avoidance reactions next time it sees the bug. This is a large milkweed bug. As larvae, these insects are aggressive aquatic predators called hellgrammites. However, these ginormous adults with wingspans over 5 inches do not eat, and the male's large pincher-like mandibles are harmless. The females, on the other hand, have pinching mouthparts that you need to be careful when handling. If you bug her too much, she may give you a hard pinch. If you guessed eastern dobsonfly, you are correct. One of our more common butterflies, this insect is named after a mammal with black stripes. It also is named after a bird who has long, narrow tail feathers. The male of this species are always bright yellow in color. However, females may either be bright yellow or sometimes black and with blue markings. This is an eastern tiger swallowtail. This bug is a recent introduction to Marshall County and has been wreaking havoc ever since. Its metallic color helps to name it, along with its host tree, which dies from the larva burrowing away the xylem and the phloem under the bark of the tree. If you guessed emerald ash borer, you are correct. These insects have many different nicknames, including skipjack and jackknives, due to their unique acrobatic behavior when stuck on their backs or when trying to elude predators. Their long, slender bodies, hard outer shells, and large eye circles help to identify this insect. It is an eyed click beetle. Seldom seen far from decomposing vertebrates, this insect buries the dead animals and feeds it to its larvae. The adults, on the other hand, feed on maggots that grow inside the dead stuff. Unlike its relatives, the hard covering of this insect has a fuzzy pronotum that helps to give it its name. This is a golden neck carrion beetle. This insect produces a volatile aromatic compound to repel any creatures that might try to make it prey. This species in specific is named after its color. If you guess green stink bug, you are correct. We've all swatted a few of these, but did you know there are 60 different species of these bloodsuckers in North America? Remember to dump any stagnant water, as this is where adults lay eggs and larvae live. This is the American Galliniper mosquito. Unique to butterfly species, this butterfly is one of the few butterflies that hibernate as an adult, and is why it is a good reason to clean up your garden and leaves after the winter months. Because it emerges in early spring, it does not feed on nectar, but instead on carrion and animal dung. This butterfly gets its name for an article of clothing that was worn during a period of sadness or bereavement. If you guess mourning cloak, you are correct. No, this is not a giant mosquito, but it does have 2 wings, so that's your first hint. This species is aptly named because it's quite large, measuring over 3 inches. This is a giant eastern crane fly. In adult format, this moth draws little attention. However, as a caterpillar, it is a very common, easily recognizable, and very fuzzy. Contrary to popular belief, the width of the orange band does not tell us if it will be a harsh winter, but instead gives us clues on where it grew up and how old the caterpillar is. This moth falls into a family of brightly patterned and striped moths, similar to a mammal that shares the same name. This is an Isabelle tiger moth, or also a woolly bear caterpillar. This insect is named after its host plant that helps to give the beetle a horrible taste, and anything that takes a munch out of it, a horrible bellyache. Its aposematic coloration is another part of this squeaky insect's name. Yes, I said squeaky. If you hold this creature between your fingers and close to your ears, you will find that it makes squeaking noises. This is a red milkweed beetle. This butterfly falls into a family that can be confused for a moth due to its thick, furry body. This family makes up 1/3 of almost all the butterflies in North America. The species can be identified by its shiny, light gray spot on the side of its wings. This is a silver-spotted skipper. This true bug lives up to its name by slaying other insects. It stabs its prey with its sharp beak and injects it with saliva that turns its prey into liquid, in which it slurps out the liquefied tissue. It's also named after its spiny head. This is a spined assassin bug. One of the most easily recognizable butterflies in Iowa, this butterfly relies on milkweed toxins to keep it safe. Do not confuse this insect for its mimic, the viceroy. If you guess monarch, you are correct. The bumper cars of the insect world, these crazy swimmers propel themselves through the water with paddle-like feet. Maybe that's why their name sounds like a ride that could be found at an amusement park. Their hard outer shell is another go-to identification factor. If you guessed whirligig beetle, you are correct. This colorful vegetarian is named after one of its favorite foods. However, it's not a picky eater and will feed on many types of plants, including corn, squash, and soybeans. It's also named for its distinct black marks. If you guessed spotted cucumber beetle, you are correct. Contrary to popular belief, these insects do not enter a sleeping person's... Oops, I almost gave it away. This species was brought to America across the Atlantic Ocean and can be identified by its short, leathery forewings and large, membranous hindwings. The large pincers are also good identification. If you guessed European earwig, you are correct. This insect creates nests out of mud under bridges and roofs of buildings. An added plus, if you don't like spiders, is this species actively hunts them and then sticks them into their muddy nests. It's relatively not aggressive. This four-winged stinging insect can be identified by its color and its long, skinny abdomen that ends in a stinger. This is a yellow and black mud dauber. These insects get their name because they like wood, just like a professional woodworker. They are some of our largest ant species in Iowa. They most commonly are wingless. However, sexually mature adults have wings, and their job is to mate and then find a new location to live. If you guessed eastern black carpenter ant, you are correct. It is large and it's a killer, but not of humans. Actually, this very large stinging insect is not aggressive to humans and rarely becomes defensive of their homes. What they do is actively hunt cicadas, then paralyze them with their stingers, carry them back to their nest, which is usually underground, and there they lay their eggs on the cicada, providing a food source for their larvae after the eggs hatched. If you guessed cicada killer, you are correct. Another two-winged species, this one is named for its metallic color. This insect plays an important role in forensic. By aging their maggots, we are able to date the time of death. Gross? Yes. But just remember, a maggot is just a baby fly. This is a green bottle fly. With four wings, this insect falls out of the fly order and into the Hymenoptera family. Its relatives include bees and ants. Don't worry, that long, skinny tail attached to its body is not a stinger. It's an ovipositor and only the females have it. They use it to lay eggs by drilling through wood into burrows of horntail wasp larvae. Their young then feed on this larva when they hatch from their eggs. This is a black giant ecumonid wasp. I hope you enjoyed learning about insects. As you can see, there are many different types and shapes and sizes here in Iowa. It's always fun to go out and find new insects and explore our natural world. Insects are right under our toes and we often miss them. So it is a great way to take a closer look at the small environment around us, but they are a very vital, important part. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and have an awesome summer.